someone, knowing precisely what the person's intentions are can be difficult. Is the person a fraud, or is the business deal he is presenting legit? Does the person maintain a calm spirit, or does he sometimes erupt with anger and wreak havoc to all who are around him? If the person is attracted to you, is he there for a one-time thing, or is he looking for a committed relationship? Does the person have your interests at heart, or are you just a means to him satisfying his needs? Many questions come up when you newly know someone. Sadly, the answers to them cannot be gotten from a few hours of conversation. These hours sometimes turn into days, months, and even years without getting to know a person's true self. Cues that indicate ill intentions. Ultimately, since in most occasions an individual will appear good to you, whether he means well or not, you ought to know the cues that indicate bad intentions at least, and if they do not come up, enjoy the positive side. Being aware of the bad will help you avoid the bad ones like the landmines they are. If the person turns up happy, then you are unmarried and looking for the individual with a calm spirit. Here are some ways that can help determine a person's true intentions. The person talks about what a nice person he is. While a person may make an effort to sell himself if he has come to you with a business idea or is attracted to you, it is unlike people to start talking about how virtuous they are. A person of virtues will not even want to tell you his good qualities. He waits for you to identify them yourself. Therefore, when a person comes to you claiming how good he is, he isn't. He is only trying to cover his real character. In the same way, a person who insists that he is not a threat and makes requests that you should show him around your business or your home, this isn't the kind of person you should trust or give your time to. That person could be interested in other things and not what he claims. He could be a thief. Remind yourself that you have met a bunch of nice people in your life before, and none pestered you to know that they are good. You learned all by yourself. Every other person that comes into your life you will know in the same way. The individual seeks to charm you instead of getting to the business of the day. When a person or a group of people is being insincere about their intentions toward you, they are likely to go a very long way to get you to pay attention to other issues besides what is important. For example, people who would want to defraud you, but have presented themselves as suppliers of a particular item, will want to discuss your checking account more than the relationship they wish to establish with you. A lady who is not genuinely interested in a man will be shallow in her conversation, not wanting to know more about the man, and instead of showing interest in things like gifts, money, and others, instead of getting to know the man genuinely. An insincere person is all about surface appeal and will create an image so good that neither you nor others like you will doubt his sincerity. He or she will dress the part and look like a big shot. He will tell you all the things that could traditionally impress you, depending on the context of your relationship, without putting any effort to learn about what you do. This attitude leaves you vulnerable and open to his efforts, and this does not produce any good results. For example, a fraudulent business person will talk about how he or she knows the secrets to get the government contract you have been looking for. He will even show you fake contact names of people in government that he calls for deals like those. You will be charmed by his success and not even consider the information gaps in his story. charmed out of your socks, you will give in to him and lose money in the process. There are no people with whom you can reference the information you get. So far, the person you have met will seem like the dream. Everything he says may even have checked out so far. The company he claims to own may exist, but it is likely that he is not affiliated with it. But there is no one to confirm anything you have been told. You won't find a company or business he has worked with in the past. If you ask around, people do not even know that the business exists. If it is a man looking to have a relationship with you, he will not have any friends. Toxic people and frauds rarely have friends, most likely because the people who knew them got wind of the terrible character and walked off. People with bad intentions also do not see the need to keep people around, especially those that will not offer them the benefits they desire. All that the person will care about is the gains he can get, and you are at the center of it all. Only one thing in mind. The only thing that the person has on their mind is to get you to do his or her bidding. The only reason the person has you around is that you are a means to an intended end. If the person wants to have $100,000, you have the money in your account, and you are the only means to that money. Once he gets the money, then your association with him is as good as dead. You will see that the person will form a pattern with his or her talking about the same things in an attempt to convince you to do what they need you to. The person believes that if you hear that thing enough times, you will subtly slide into the same mind frame that he is in, and then get you to make the decision as though both of you came to it, even if you were just tricked into making that decision. Information about the person and his intentions are vague. A direct bad sign that the person you are dealing with is insincere is that he or she comes to you with vague information. If he is seeking a relationship, the man will say that he does not believe in labels, and so there is no need to refer to each other by particular title so long as everything between you two is great. You will see sense in this argument, but at the back of your mind, there will remain a gnawing, reminding you that you wanted a healthy relationship, not a directionless union. There are also situations where a new friend will know everything there is to know about you. He or she will come to your house, to your job place, will meet your family and other friends, but you will not have the same information about them. You will not have an idea where the individual lives, where he or she works, no idea about the friends, or any other personal information. In a situation like this, ask yourself one question. What is the reason behind this anonymity? What could this person be hiding? The individual is too needy. It is never a good sign when a person becomes too needy and places all these demands on you, especially if you are new to each other. When a person has already started making demands in regard to your time and commitment to him, the alarms in your head should be blaring already. This is a clear sign that something much darker lies ahead. For example, if a new boyfriend always demands to know where you are, what you are doing, the people you are with, and the time when the person should expect you, or that he texts you all day to make sure that you are within reach, you are about to get into some weirdly manipulative territory. In addition, if all you do is cater to his needs for attention, time, money, and others, realize that the entire relationship will be about him from the start to the end. Neediness in a relationship is not a cute sign to show that someone is obsessed with you and so in love that he cannot spend a minute without you. You will know this because the thought of being with that person will have you worrying rather than dreaming of champagne toasts and wedding dresses. Trust the animals. Animals are great at sensing things. If you bring the person home and your cat or dog that is typically relaxed around people is now showing some level of hostility toward the new person, be alarmed and take that as a sign. This is not to suggest that your pets should lead your decisions. It is only to say they have a special instinct and can pick up on things that we ignore as humans. If the person does not care for the pets or is even cruel to them, take this also as a sign of how the person treats other people, especially those that are weaker or smaller than he is. A person's emotions do not vary when the individual is dealing with animals and people. You cannot be cruel to animals but kind-hearted to people. Therefore, the treatment a person gives to your pets is a good indicator of the relationship that he or she has with others. The person won't let things go. Holding a grudge is different from an unwillingness to let things go and sweating the small stuff. It is ugly when a person uses small issues as a point of contention time and again. For example, if someone accidentally steps on the toes of your potential business partner and he cannot stop cursing and hurling insults at the person, this is a sure sign that the man is bad news. If small things like that cause him to be so erratic, how about when significant things happen? You would be at the receiving end of extreme bile. This is also the measure to use when dealing with a potential romantic partner. If the partner shows uncontrollable anger because of small things, or even the big ones, you are only digging your grave by getting together with someone like that. A person who flies so off the handle does not have any good intentions toward you because he considers what you have done to be so bad and not sticking to the narrative that he had planned out. When things change a bit, he feels that his control and power is being challenged. A person who is not willing to let some things slide is an ache to have around. No one wants to live with or work next to all that negativity. The person mounts too much pressure on you. A person with bad intentions will pull out all the stops to manipulate you into doing his bidding. This person is a master manipulator and will do whatever it takes to ensure that the people around him work to achieve his ends. If you get into a relationship with a person like this, be prepared to stop living your own life and instead start living to please the person. He or she will pressure you to do things for him or her and will throw incredible tantrums if you don't do it. The process of pressuring you to nudge you in the direction that the person wants you to go is like a game to him. Even if you refuse to do it countless times, the guy will continue to poke and prod at you until you give in. Belittling and gaslighting are some of the most popular methods used. Some become emotional and will tell you a few emotional stories, made up or exaggerated, so that you feel obligated to offer help and consolation. He or she takes advantage of the empathy you have, all the while not caring about the lengths you will go to meet his or her needs. If you get into a relationship with a person like this, he or she will get mad, will not pick up your calls, and will act withdrawn to throw you off your game. Since you do not want the drama and the emotional baggage, you will have to dance to the individual's tune. This way, the person will have control over you, and slowly your life will be about pleasing that person, having forgotten about yourself. Body language tells it all. The body language communicates the intentions a person has. If it seems off, then it probably is, and you ought to get as far as possible from this individual. If you notice the limbs making some irregular jerking movements, sweating, an inability to be comfortable, averting his eye from yours and covering the mouth and nose when speaking, you should know that something about this person is off, and you shouldn't trust him. A person with bad intentions is fully aware of his behavior and has a rough idea of how you would react if you got to know about his act. In most cases, they feign normalcy and will try to act as though they are not convincing you to get in on whatever they are doing and where they intend to lead you. Therefore, pay attention to the way a person speaks and behaves in a normal conversation when speaking to you or another person, and compare this to how he speaks to you when talking about the relationship, the business deal, or any other issue that got you communicating. Notice the neg. A person who has no good intentions for you will neg to get your attention. Negging is an old trick of the book where a person will insult you cleverly in a way that gets your attention, gets you defensive, and in the process makes you attracted to the person. The individual tries to play the insult as a joke, even though he does not get anyone to laugh. This is a terrible way of getting someone's attention, and a person who takes up this habit does not know a thing about decency. A person who has good intentions towards you would never insult you, whether as a joke or otherwise. He will respect the relationship he is trying to create, romantic, business, or any other kind, and treat you with respect for the sake of the future. He will, therefore, observe all the words that come out of his mouth and be concerned about the effect that they have on you. In addition, negging is proof of the poor view of you that the person has. The person doesn't speak the truth. Telling a white lie here and there is all right, especially if the lies are said to protect another person from something trivial that he would be better off not knowing. For example, telling your friend that you are running late because the traffic is terrible is better than having to tell the truth that you couldn't miss an episode of your favorite daytime talk show, like The Ellen Show. That said, a person with bad intentions does not stop at the little white ones. The person goes full blast and lies big time, even when it is unnecessary to do so. Liars are known to generate toxic ideas and live toxic lives. So when you realize that the person lies a lot, remember that he or she is only looking to dump the toxicity onto you. These liars lie to make themselves look nice, to get their way, or to obtain trust, and all these tactics are laden with evil intentions. The person is not willing to be seen with you. This point mostly applies to romantic relationships. When a person is dating someone he or she admires and respects, there's an eagerness to show the person off to the entire world. In fact, the person will want to be seen walking next to you, with his hands clasped tightly to yours. However, if the man does not want to be out in public with you, and only wants to meet you in the dead of the night, you ought to know that the person is not invested in you, and that the relationship you two have is primarily meant to meet his needs, and, if possible, not mandatory, yours too. While this is a character synonymous with men, ladies have picked up on the habit too, and are using men for their benefits, without considering the emotional state of the men they are with.